Yeah, let's get into it, guys. So you have a technology that you're bringing to the world. Tell us about it. The ultimate solution for waste and pollution. Did I get that right?
You got it right. Yeah. So it's a
Yeah.
process that was originally invented by my father about 25 years ago. And we spent a long time going through many trials and tribulations, ups and downs, highs and lows, and various forms of this process, right? And well, that's all it is. It's a process. It's already standard industry practices that my father figured out how to put in the correct sequence to emulate and mimic the Earth's natural hydro and geothermal processes to turn all carbon-based waste back into their smaller chain carbons, which are hydrocarbon fuels, biochar, and various forms of useful energy.
And so you sell those products from the waste. So you take waste. You were talking about that oil and tires and stuff, and then you turn it into like actual products like soil building amendments and stuff.
Well, yeah, there's two soil building amendments, right? But we can get into those. One is a biochar, which actually has a couple different uses, which we'll get into. And we also make a liquid fertilizer concentrate, which is loaded with ammonical nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, magnesium, all these great micronutrients that support plant life and growth. And there's no waste byproducts. Our only byproduct is a gray water stream.
Interesting.
So what we're
How
able
do you do that?
Well-
It's proprietary.
Oh, yes and no. There's
But
enough that we can share.
I'm curious, right?
So basically,
How is it safe? All those
Yeah.
things.
so everything, and you're a farmer, pretty much everything is carbon, right? Almost everything above the Earth's surface is carbon. Life. The carbon is the element of life, right? And all that is, if we go back to high school chemistry or high school biology class, think of sugar, C6H12O6, right? 6 carbons, 12 hydrogens, 6 oxygens. Well, if we took sugar and we processed it in our equipment, you would cleave off those oxygens and you would actually just make the straight chain carbons, right? And not only that, but we're able to actually save all that carbon. So when you think of a waste disposal method like incineration,
Right.
incineration definitely makes energy from waste. Is it a good way? That's debatable. I mean, if you look at a country like Singapore, who has scrubbers on their plants, the air that comes out after burning their trash is actually cleaner than the air around the facility. But those are insanely expensive technologies to filter that air.
In Singapore.
Yeah.
God.
But incineration destroys carbon, right? You combust it. So it's the end of the life. You destroy the carbon.
You just use it up.
We just take it and we just put it back into the loop. So carbon, we make 4 main products, right? We make a regenerative fuel oil, which is a sweet crude. It's carbon neutral, clean burning, no mercury, no VOCs, no volatile compounds. It's truly a clean burning fuel, which can be distilled into gasoline, diesel, kerosene, and the kerosene can be upgraded into jet fuel. I've done the experiments turning our kerosene into JP4 and JP5 grade jet fuels. We create a renewable or regenerative natural gas, which is a mixed fuel gas. It contains propane, hexane, butane, all the good natural gases. And then we have the biochar, which changes in composition depending on what you're feeding the system, but we'll get into that.
Right.
And then our liquid fertilizer,
Okay.
and then the only byproduct is water. So let's say you're in an arid climate, right? You're in Arizona, and we know Arizona is a tough growing condition, right? I've studied permaculture to a long degree, and some of your guests you've had on have been from Food Forest Abundance, and we're actually
Heck yeah.
blessed to say we're founding partners of that amazing organization.
Shout outs. Yeah. Cameron put us in touch. He was on
Yeah,
the podcast.
Cameron that's a special human being. That is a special human
Yeah,
being.
he's
I
good
mean,
people.
when I saw him and just put my arms around him for the first time, it felt like I was hugging a brother that I've known my whole life. So it truly has been great. But let's
We're
say
on a
you're in
mission,
Arizona,
brother. Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So you have all this waste, and waste has moisture content, right? Everything has water in it. That waste sits in a landfill, and that water goes to waste, right? But now we can capture that water and just take it out of the system, and now we can use it again, right? So we're a water positive technology, and in my eyes, because of carbon neutrality, the way you have to look at it from my perspective and the way I've studied it, we're actually a carbon negative company. So we actually not only create carbon neutral fuels, but we create carbon that you put back in the soil. So it's the ultimate way, in my eyes, of sequestering carbon, because we're putting fertilizers back into the soil, which the soil's now storing that carbon, and then the fuels we're making are carbon neutral.
Amazing, man. And the soils are depleted, man. We need solutions like this.
Yeah.
It's amazing. So tell us more about it. I think I have so many questions. The first is the gray water system. I think my audience is curious about that too. But also, like, brother, this is amazing. Like we need, it's an energy, you're an energy company, I guess, right?
Well, we're an equipment manufacturer, right?
So
we're building the equipment that waste producers can now take, and they can use this equipment at their facility. So let's use a slaughterhouse, for example, right? You have a big slaughterhouse slaughtering, let's say use pork, right? They're slaughtering 20,000 300-pound pigs a day. They're producing a lot of waste. And I've visited facilities of that size before, right? They're producing probably 20 to 50 tons of waste a day at minimum.
Got it.
Right?
Like one of these factory farms.
Yeah. So now they're coming in, and all that waste is now being shipped out. Trucks coming in, spending all those fuels, burning all those fuels, taking it out to one facility, going to facility B, getting processed at facility B, getting sent to facility C, then going to facility D. Oop.
Yeah.
It's just a long chain
with the material,
with the waste.
Yeah.
Not even the good material, the waste.
The waste. Yeah.
Now that same facility can purchase our equipment and power their facility from their waste while making the fertilizers that they can now have a new product they can market from their waste.
And use the water to feed.
Yeah, the water, so a facility like that probably wouldn't try to utilize the water. They would probably just discharge it to a city. If they had a use for it, they definitely could. Maybe they're irrigating a field or whatever. But this gray water will meet all COD and BOD requirements for city discharge. There's no pathogens. The technology, actually, my father, his company, has seen 100% pathogen destruction and actually has a medical infectious waste permit in New York. We're not affiliated with my father or his company, but the technology is an advanced form of what they've used. Me and my team have really developed it a lot further than where it originally was. So it's the only technology to ever receive 100% pathogen destruction on medical infectious waste. Incineration's about 99.8% effective, and the way you can explain that is think of a fire. You always have that one little brick of charred wood that's left over. They're cold spots, right? And pathogens can survive those cold spots. But because we use water in our process, the water gets into all the interstices, and under heat and pressure, you're able to destroy those pathogens. So we neutralize all toxins, all wastes. And there's even some more tricks in there that we'll get into here in a little bit.
No, this is good stuff, man.
We're in the garden. It's existential.